A world away from the touristy sites of Uzbekistan with its sea-white chevrolets, just across the border lies the Zarafshan range, where 7 crystal clear lakes mirror the sky, and locals lived much the same since medieval times. I followed the Silk Road to Sarazm, Panjaken and the Faun Mountains, where ancient civilizations lived 6,000 years ago, and connected with Tajikistan. Good morning from Zhartepa. Zhartepa in Tajik means high gorge. This is the border between Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, just 60 kilometers from Samarkand. Let's cross border by foot. It takes around 25 minutes and end up in Tajikistan site already. So cool. There's a toilet and the border fence is right beside it. I love borders. So cool. This border connecting Samarkand with Panjaken was closed in 1999 for nearly 2 decades until 2018 due to security concerns, including risks of trafficking and militant activity from neighboring Afghanistan. Sarazm border control crossed. I'm in Tajikistan already, new country. It was smooth 20-25 minutes process of passing the border. Stamping process was stopped for like 5-7 minutes because lady wanted to clean the floor. So everyone was waiting until floor is clean and shiny. Now let's go to Panjaken and up to the mountains to Haftkul 7 lakes to explore the beauty of this country. Quick stop in Panjaken, the main town of 50,000 people, for some snacks, and then heading up to the mountains. Very pleasant town, and no Chevrolet cars, mostly Opel. I will explore Panjaken more tomorrow morning, and I have whole day tomorrow in Panjaken. So today I just passed by. Today mostly focus on the mountains. Oh, that's how locals live. And they live in the Zarafshan mountain range, where I'm heading for some fun in the Faun Mountains, off to the 7 lakes called Haftkul. That's cool! Right after Chorbuk village, there's actually a passport control, a checkpoint, due to local gold mines. So this kind of restricted area, so make sure you bring passports. I can see a lot of milestones all the way with the Chinese characters. Chinese invested some money in this area, probably in a gold mine or roads. This is Xing village over there. It's a small stop for a toilet break. And this valley actually called after this village, a Xing Valley. And this Xing village, which flows from 7 lakes. Beautiful, and actually it's quite warm. Elevation is 1,360 meters above sea level. It's very sunny and quite warm. I can see a lot of landslides over here in this valley. So this is probably the #1 danger for locals, because they build the houses on this slope and sometimes affected by landslides. But their houses look very cozy, with probably very nice view of the opposite side of the valley. And locals don't speak English, they don't speak Russians already over here. So I wanted to ask some photo, she doesn't understand. She doesn't even understand word photo, which is quite universal, I believe. Centuries of earthquakes triggered landslides that blocked the Xing River, creating natural dams and forming the 7 lakes in between. And finally, after half an hour drive from Xing village, we reached the first lake, Shengon Lake. This is the first lake. From Tajik it means eyelashes, nobody knows why. And the depth of this lake is around 17 meters. And there is no fish actually. The fish you can see from 4th lake only. So look how beautiful it is, crystal clean blue lake of Nezhgon. There's not much of a stops in between lakes, so I just film from the moving car. There's some villages we pass by and see how locals live. Very nice communities, schools, local houses. For my male audience. Yeah, Zarafshan Valley, Nezhgon Lake. From first lake, we are ascending by 100 to 150 meters to the second lake, Soya Lake, from Tajik word shadow, because this lake mostly during the day is buried in a shadow, but not currently. And this lake has a depth of around 16-17 meters, and Soya Lake changes the color of the water depending on the weather and time of the day. Beautiful. This one is more like green color, unlike turquoise first one. And you can see the river which connects lakes and then going to the Shing Valley, creating Shing Lake and towards Panjakent to Zaravashan River. The temperature of the water is quite cold, up to 10 degrees Celsius, but locals still swim there during summer months, between May and August. I'm very lucky with weather. It's 25 degrees in Panjakent, and here is no rain, nothing, which means we can visit all 7 lakes, because I was told that 1 week ago roads are blocked due to bad weather and we can only visit 1 or 2 lakes. But very lucky, so make sure you travel during summer months, preferably. And here you go, cars going only one way basically, look. And just another 400 meters and there is a third lake, Gushor Lake, which means watchful or attractive. Once it was a home to many poisonous snakes, and that's how it got its name. And it's surrounded by many steep cliffs over there. Just look, they're literally vertical. I can't even comprehend its size of the mountains surrounding the lakes, the Rashan Valley. Beside third lake there are a few houses. Another one have doors and roof. This is probably former village or something. Or when people pass by, they can protect themselves from wind or something. Very interesting. They stack up rocks and it's quite secure construction. Rocks are scattered everywhere in the valley. So this place has seen a lot of landslides and flying rocks all around. Just look, they're everywhere. And it gets windy, more and more windy as we go further to 4th and 5th lakes, and it gets higher and more windy. Just walking distance from third lake, there is a 4th lake. Nofin means umbilical cord because it's in the middle and it's very long, 2.5 kilometers, but only 200 meters wide, and it's like connecting first lakes and last lakes. And locals say this lake has some secrets, and no wonder, because this area is in a Silk Road, like Panjakent. Sarazm is populated for past 5,500 years already, so this area probably seen a lot of merchants and people along Silk Road who stop here for some break and nature. Kurdak in Tajik means small or baby, and this is the name of the 5th and the smallest lake in this 20-kilometer chain of 7 lakes. And look how small it is, very cute. It's very clean, even though it's not turquoise or greenish color. It's still very clean and bright, even without direct sunlight. It literally fits inside my fisheye lens, the entire lake. Expanding roads to make them wider for cars to pass by. Elevation at 6th Lake Marguzor is 2,100 meters, and look what happens with the sealed back. It's inflated due to low pressure over here. Same happens to your head. The 6th, the largest and the most beautiful Lake Marguzor, named after a small village Okishlak in Tajik at the southern side. There's some evidence that during the Stone Age there was still a settlement. The most beautiful lake, no doubt, and the most largest. Wow, wonderful. Driving on a seabed of 6th Lake Marguzor. So from May to middle of September it's like full of water, this particular area. Like 1 meter high?
Yeah, just now we're driving like 3 meters.
So the depth of the lake goes up to 3 meters in this particular area, at the southern part of Lake Marguzor. We are just right on time. The school is on the opposite side of the river, so during the wet season, when 6th Lake is full, kids must take a 2-hour detour back home. And to the 7th lake, need to hike for around half an hour, 2 kilometers. It's pretty steep hike, but it gets less steeper as you go further. And you can see snowy peaks getting closer to you. Elevation around 2,300 meters. And while hiking up, don't forget to turn around and enjoy the scenery behind your back. Worth the stop. And I really wonder how is life for locals here. I wish to spend like a couple of weeks living with them, doing what they do, and just get this experience and exchange with their culture and maybe language. Will be great. I hope to do this one day. Probably in Tajikistan as well. Central Asia is so welcoming and hospitality are the best over here in this region. But again, they don't speak neither English or Russian, only local Tajik dialect, so you cannot communicate with them much. There is also no internet starting from second lake. There is reception, some T-Cell, but no 3G, nothing, no even Edge. Hi. This is the river flowing from 7th lake to 6th, 5th and so on. So they're all connected and each lake is a bit higher than previous one. Just some former local house. Very simple, just rocks and mud. So this area of 6th and 7th lake is a kishlak or village Marguzor. They've been living here for centuries because there have been some evidence found, like some stones of primitive people from Middle Ages. But this particular house, I think here for just a decade or something. And from here I can see already a glimpse of 7th lake, Haftkul. Let's get closer, finally.
Start of the season is 15th of March.
15th of March,
15th of March,
the same spot.
Yeah, same spot.
15th of March.
15th of
What's
March.
the temperature there?
The temperature was -3 and 4.
It's around 12, I think.
No, it's 15, 13 now.
And finally, 7th and last lake, Hazrachajma, 1000th lake, because lake is fed by the waters of 2 rivers and many streams and springs. And this lake is exactly 2,400 meters above sea levels, and there are still few settlements over there and the only wildlife. I will definitely come here again to do some campfire, eat some barbecue and rest from busy urban life. I was told that from wildlife you can see a gray bear in this region, in the Found Mountains, but I don't think they around these lakes particularly, somewhere maybe behind the gorge. 7th lake is the end. Let's get back to level 6, get back to the car and drive and enjoy the scenery of the first 6th lake. Once again, what a place, beyond my expectations. I'm completely stoked. Whatever you look at, it's stunning. Unfortunately, you cannot fly drone in Uzbekistan or Tajikistan. They're banned from even importing them. So I didn't dare to bring them along. Just still can enjoy the scenery from the ground level. Oh. So many small details, like even in this bridge.
Marguzor translates from Tajik as blossoming place, and it really is. I also brought my blossoming hunger with me, as there isn't a single restaurant or cafe, literally nothing. I'd better hurry back to Panjakent before it gets dark, for a big, real local Tajik dinner.
And just perfectly right after sunset, I'm back to Panjakent. So it took exactly 8 hours, from 9:30 to 5:30 to get from Panjakent to 7th lake, enjoy everything at Fun Mountains and get back to Panjakent by 5:30. And now let's have a stroll, have some dinner and go sleep in a very nice hotel right in the heart of the city.
After a quick stroll around the futuristic illuminated city, I jumped straight into the most authentic restaurant I could find and asked for the most authentic Tajik food. Starting with a hot shurbo lamb soup with potatoes and carrots, I followed with more meat in a juicy chicken shashlik along with kurtop, which is a soaked piece of flatbread in a sauce made from kurd, layered with fresh vegetables. Wow, that was something!
Just checked in, this is my room in the heart of Panjakent for $85 US for a room. Everything is here, very simple, and there is a common area where you can have breakfast over there, which is also included in the price, and the common kitchen where you can do anything you want. Use fridge, microwave, unlimited time for free. And you can also iron your clothes in this common area. Okay, I'm going to sleep now to wake up early, buy breakfast at 7 AM and explore Panjakent and surroundings in the morning before going to Samarkand in the afternoon. Good foggy morning from Panjakent. This is the heart of the city, main bazaar, and Alim Dudokh, 14th century madrasa. Let's have a walk for a while over here and absorb its vibe. I already see there's no Chevrolet. Unlike in Uzbekistan, they're mostly Opel and Mercedes. Completely different vibe as compared to neighbor Uzbekistan, and this is just a border town. Interesting.
But shopping is not any different from other places in the world.
the main bazaar of Panjakent, or Bozor in Tajik. It's not big, it's quite small, but enough to fulfill needs of 50,000 people living here. There's everything for home, even stationery, meat, fruits, everything in one small area. Just ask local, all these fruits and vegetables from this region, from Panjakent, from western Tajikistan. All fresh. They use kind of these small cars everywhere to go across the bazaar from one part to another. I never seen such thing before at any bazaar in the world. So cool. This bazaar here, this particular place, since at least 14th century, since Madrasa Olim Dudokh across, which I just shown, was built. This is how old this market is. I don't think this bazaar changed much since then. Even these gates seem very old, like centuries years old. There's a plaque up here and it says 1993, so I think it's been renovated at 1993. Even main bazaar is over here and 100 meters away. People still selling goodies over there. So this area basically the whole bazaar, not only under this dome. And across the street as well, everywhere. It's bustling, the heart of the city, the most bustling area of Panjakent. And city keep expanding, new construction area on. I just entered to Olim Dudokh Madrasa, and it's like a portal from bustling city behind this fence into a very nice cozy park. The origins of this madrasa is from 14th century, but it's mostly rebuilt now, and it can accommodate up to 1,500 people. Beautiful. And very nice drain pipe ornament over there. And this is the mosque. It looks much older than minaret and madrasa. Probably this is 14th century bricks over there. It reminds me of India when you have bustling city and then you enter a park and it's completely quiet there, like that silence. Beautiful.
This bustling main street is named Rudaki, after the father of Tajik literature, who was among the first to write in the new Persian language. By the way, he was born right here in Panjakent, making him a proud symbol of Tajik cultural heritage.
What can be in the middle of Rudaki street, in the middle of Panjakent, with Samani statue in the middle, and a huge Tajikistan flag? Yes. This is typical white color Central Asia government building, city hall. And unlike Samarkand or Tashkent, you can actually come very close and wander around this beautiful quiet park with locals. Very pleasant stroll along Rudaki street. I really enjoy it. Vorzhizhgohi Markazi, the local stadium just across the street of a city hall with a local football club which is playing in a second league, I mean a kind of championship, not in the Premier League. Everything is very close in this city, even though when you look at the map, everything is spread out across Rudaki street. It's just beside City Hall, beside all government buildings, a stadium. And Bazaar is just 10 minutes walk from here. Very compact city.
And just across the street is a very compact building, which is also called, you won't believe me, Rudaki Historical Museum. I'm not a fan of museums, but this one is a rare gem. There are 8 halls, each dedicated to a different aspect of life in Tajikistan, but the most mind-blowing one is filled with artifacts from the thriving Sogdian settlement. And while everyone's queuing for hours to see the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, here you are alone with zero security, looking at items thousands of years old, excavated from the nearby ruins of the ancient city of Panjakent, where I'll be heading right after a quick lunch by the mighty Rudaki Zarafshan River.
On Google Maps I found highly rated Choykhana just by the Zarafshan River, with a nice panoramic views while dining al fresco. This Zarafshan River, where Haftkul river from 7 lakes flow into. It's a very important river for this region. It flows to Samarkand and further to central Uzbekistan. Unfortunately it's foggy today, and while eating I cannot see opposite shore, but still it's quite nice panoramic scenic view. Beautiful. What a lunch before going back to Samarkand. And from here I will go to Old Panjakent, then to Sarazm, ancient ruins, and then to the border. Taxi costs 100 samani, and he will be waiting for me to explore these areas. Sounds very cheap and good deal. Ah, you have petrol over here in your trunk. Taxi in Tajikistan, you can pump your petrol anywhere you want. So convenient. 5 kilometers south from Panjakent, there's old, ancient Panjakent. This is the town from Sogdian Empire, dated around 2,500 years ago, similar to Afrasiab in Samarkand. And very hard to believe, in the 5th, 8th century, this area was a cosmopolitan city, bustling with many shops, with many traders, camels, everything. But it only became cosmopolitan by 5th century. Actually, the town stood here for the past 2,500 years. And it's very impressive. And I'm even more impressed that there are no tourists completely. This is real hidden gem of Central Asia. And obviously this is UNESCO World Heritage Site, as well as Sarazm. I'm going next by the border with Uzbekistan. Insane. There's an entire house down there. Look, there's a door, the walls, rooms. It's much better than Afrasiab one, because in Afrasiab you can see only excavation site. But here they preserved mud brick walls and rooms, and they didn't excavate it, just left it as is. No wonder it's dubbed as Pompeii of Central Asia. Just like in Afrasiab, they also excavated a lot of frescoes, and they're on a display in Dushanbe National Museum, and some of ancient things they're displayed in a museum just across the street right here.
Right here in a small cabin, centuries old original frescoes are just casually resting on the floor without anyone around. What?
This is the original fresco from 16th century, and on the walls they're reproduced. So here another one, original fresco. Wow, so many details, 16th century. And finally, last stop, just by the border with Uzbekistan, 10 minutes drive west from Panjakent, is Sarazm or Sarizamin. This is one of the oldest settlements in the entire Central Asia, and is dating back to 3500 BC. So basically it's 5,500 years old, this settlement. And even at the entrance you can see 5500, which refers to the age of this settlement. And Sarazm means the beginning of the world, and no wonder how old it is. Probably this is where we all started, from here, Tajikistan. And right here archaeologists found a very wealthy woman which was buried here 2,500 years ago. She was wearing some expensive jewelry on her hands and her neck, and there are pictures showing this site where they found it. Yeah, this Panjakent area is really hidden gem. I'm surprised there are no tourists at all. And excavations are very recent, just 40 years ago, during Soviet era, 1980s. So it's very recent findings.
As I leave for my next journey in Uzbekistan, I can't express how much this brief taste of Tajikistan's nature and history has made me feel how special and underrated this country is. Living on the Silk Road crossroads for thousands of years, surrounded by the highest mountains, this land has raised the most welcoming and resilient people, always happy to share their world with you.